Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now you all know the unicorn, right? The majestic, free, and elusive creature that we all know from our favorite fables and what have you. Well, what if I told you it has an evil twin running rampant, feasting on the souls of children and Squidward's hopes and dreams? Not only that, but it looks twisted and demonic. Closer to something out of your worst nightmare than any magical fairy tale you've ever been told. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're here to explore the mysterious alleged unicorn sightings in Africa, and we're going to break down the many conflicting reports made by the people that encountered said alleged unicorns. So grab your bucket hat, sunscreen, and mosquito repellent because we're going outdoors. This is the mystery of the African unicorn. Our first stop is Ethiopia. We're here to see a couple of individuals who are witness to some aspect of a creature that resembles the unicorn. Cosmas Indicopleustis. That's an awesome name. I wish my parents named me that. Anyway, he was a traveling merchant that arrived in Ethiopia around 550 AD and described seeing 4 statues of this supposed unicorn at the palace of the king. According to the locals, this thing would, and I quote, "When he finds himself pursued by many hunters and on the point of being caught, he springs up to the top of some precipice, whence he throws himself down, and in the descent turns a somersault so that the horn sustains all the shock of the fall, and he escapes unhurt." Our next testimony comes from an Italian traveler named Ludovico di Varthema. God, that's horrible. He traveled to Mecca and in his works described seeing 2 live unicorns in the temple of the Sultan of Mecca, given to him by the king of Ethiopia. These 2 unicorns were described as follows: dark bay in color, head like a stag, short neck, hair that hangs on one side, slender legs, cloven front legs. While back in Ethiopia, he also described seeing a species of red cow with a horn that curves backwards. We'll take a look at this a little bit later. Now this is rather peculiar. We have 2 different accounts of the same creature from people who lived roughly 950 years apart. But is this really the same creature? Let's investigate further. I'm going to title these 2 Unicorn A and Unicorn B for now. Remember, Cosmas never saw the creature, only statues of it, so we can't say anything about them being the same color. Unicorn A doesn't appear to have a head like a stag. I mean, I don't know. It looks kind of like a giraffe to me. I don't know if giraffes and stags have the same type of head, but anyway, it appears to be more narrow, and its biology just doesn't allow it because of how long the neck is. Speaking of neck, it's in no way short. Look at that. It's like the opposite of Corey Taylor's neck. Hair that hangs on one side. There's not enough information to confirm this, even with the updated image. I can't tell if Unicorn A has cheek hair or, chinny chin chin hairs. As for the cloven hooves, I'll say yeah, but most hooved animals have them, so it's not anything important or big, really. Not to mention the horn, way different. There's no way that Cosmas and Barthema described the same creature. As for the red cows with the single horn on top of the head, I'm completely stupefied and confused. There are lots of cows in Ethiopia and a lot of different subspecies due to interbreeding, but most have either 2 horns or none. Either it was a rhinoceros or it wasn't a cow. Thinking about it, horns, unicorns, there's no mistaking it. We have another unicorn subvariant on our hands. We now bring out Jerome Lobo, a Portuguese Jesuit who traveled to Ethiopia to convert people to Catholicism, who also heard stories of a creature that resembles a unicorn. I'm now going to read a portion of his work. The prodigious swiftness with which, I'm going to add a little flavor to my narration. The prodigious swiftness with which this creature runs from one wood into another has given me no opportunity of examining it particularly. Yet I have had so near a sight of it as to be able to almost taste it. I can't keep that up. That's not part of it. The shape is the same with that of a beautiful horse, exact and nicely proportioned, of a bay color, with a black tail, which in some provinces is long, in others very short. They are so timorous that they never feed but surround with other beasts that defend them. Deer and other defenseless animals often heard about the elephant, which, contenting himself with roots and leaves, preserves those beasts that place themselves, as it were, under his protection, from the rage and fierceness of others that would devour them. right away we can draw some similarities between this unicorn and unicorn B. Bay color, black tail, horn around the same length. So these could be the same creature. He describes it further, saying it is a timid and shy creature that rarely comes out in the open and only eats when in the company of other grazers. He recalls to a story he heard about a Portuguese captain and his troops that were resting one morning in a small valley surrounded by trees, when out of nowhere, out danced a majestic creature, not privy to the men that were nearby. When it finally took notice of them, it danced its way back where it came, never to be seen again. So is Unicorn C the same as Unicorn A? Let's compare Unicorn C and B for now. They are the same color, so that checks. The tails match, but Unicorn B does not have a mane that reaches the ground. The horns, however, are around the same length. There are some similarities. However, there are as many differences that we can't say for certain that it is the same creature. So we'll say that these two could be the same creature. Unicorn C does not have many similarities with Unicorn A, so we can say for certain that these two are not the same. Okay, before we move on, we have a couple more brief reports by a couple of more respectable underground history men, so we'll get to that. But right now, I'm kind of hungry, and there just so happens to be an IHOP over there, so I'll see you in a bit. Man, that was good. Nothing like cold hash browns and pancakes that fell on the floor. Don't you think it'd be pretty cool to see these things? Like just running around so that we know they actually exist, and also because seeing a unicorn would be absolutely awesome. Yeah, too bad they don't go running around the open like that. No, that's highly illogical. Our good comrade, Luis de Marmol Carvajal, spoke of a mountain-dwelling unicorn with an ash coat that sheds its horn. It has a beard like a goat. Its horn reportedly had healing properties, especially against poison. It would dip its horn to purify the water it drank. Seriously, check the sources in the description. So there's another unicorn variant. Alright, grab your essentials now, cause we're headed to Sudan, or shall we say, the kingdom of Kush. No, I'm kidding, stay away from that, children. We're not here to harm our brains, but rather, you guessed it, looking for more things that probably don't exist. While in Sudan, Edvard Ruppel was told by the locals of a slender, pony-sized reddish animal resembling an antelope. A single horn protruded from its forehead, while the females lacked said horn. Interesting, but it doesn't compare to the next spectacle we're discussing. I'm probably going to butcher a couple more of these words, so forgive me if I do. Just bear with me. The townspeople of Melpes in Kordofan made Ferdinand von Müller privy to the specimen known as the Anasa. It was reportedly the size of a small donkey with a very thick body. Rather thin bones, though. Its fur was like that of a boar, small and coarse. Get this, it has a single horn on the top of its head. Whoa. Now you're probably thinking, it's just another basic unicorn description. What's so cool about it? Well, this horn was flaccid most of the time. When it spotted danger, it would erect its horn. The locals would make shields out of the Anase skin. Our last fellow unicorn witness is Stanislas de Escaril de la. He was told about a type of rhinoceros, or monoceros, that also had an erectable head erection that was fleshy and soft until it erected. It would toss any unlucky entity that found itself in its sights and would be impaled on the second horn that sat just behind the first. None of these have any noticeable similarities with either of the unicorns seen in Ethiopia. So now we're going to travel to a multitude of different countries in which even more unicorns were reported. Still Africa, though. We're now in Angola, where Giovanni Cavazzi notes about an animal called the abata. The abata is similar in shape to a horse, but it's larger. Whoa, dude. Gnarly. Now, the abata has two horns, so it can't be a unicorn. And Jerome Lobo saw this as well, saying it has to be a rhinoceros. However, this account of the abata completely conflicts with another statement made by Girolamo Merola in the Congo, saying the abata only has one horn. Well, looks like you two have to duke it out to see which one I accept as the true abata. We now teleport to Nigeria, excuse me, Yoruba, where Thomas Jefferson, no, not that Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson Bowen, describes a creature known as the Agbangari. Jesus, all these names. Let me Google this right quick. So this creature had a chestnut coat, hooves of a cow, and a long black horn that was oddly smooth. It was said one of these things was captured and presented to King Suta, but after it didn't eat, he had it executed. Well, good lord, bro. That's not cool. Don't have any more pets. I'm gonna be honest with you all this talk about rhinocorns and Uniceras and cows is kind of boring me, so I'll give you a brief rundown of the next ones we'll talk about here. See, we have another unicorn with an erectable horn that can also move side to side as well. A good remedy for poison. A bloke by the name of André Thibet claimed that he hunted unicorns with the king of Mutapa. However, his sources quite literally trust me, bro. We have another one that is swift of foot and cautious that resembles a Gemsbok. I had to Google that. I don't even know if it's pronounced Gemsbok or Gemsbok. And in Mozambique, we have claims of a man-hunting unicorn with a 30-inch long horn that can curl like an elephant's trunk. Okay, what is this? I'm starting to think these are made up to some degree. Like, come on, erectable horns, curling horns. These are legit diarrhea of the mouth descriptions. Here's the last one. This unicorn is about horse-sized, cloven hooves, and a single horn that is slightly indented so it can dig up dirt and eat worms. Sound far-fetched, right? Because it is. I made that one up. It wouldn't be surprising if half of these descriptions were just natives messing around with travelers. Alrighty, looks like that's a wrap for today's video. I have had enough unicorn speculation for a lifetime. I will see you all in the next video.